Hey guys, welcome to this video. Today I'm going to show you everything you need to know about high ticket sales. And if you're struggling to sell like crazy and you're struggling to grow your online business, it's probably because you haven't mastered sales. So I'm going to show you everything that I know when it comes to scaling online businesses. And the most important thing is actually sales. I've generated more than $5 million in high ticket sales the past 2 years and helped coaches go from 0 to 7 figures in just 180 days and also a little bit more than that. But what I'm going to say in this video is going to help you sell like crazy, also help more people and make your life a whole lot easier, because I know that you just want to help more people. But if you refuse to learn sales, you're actually saying that you're not looking to help more people. So you need to master sales. All the big gurus in this world have mastered sales, and you need to do it as well, because sales is basically communication. And I'm going to show you the framework that I have used for my clients, so they have generated more than $5 million in high ticket sales. But before we do that, if you want to learn more about me and also my story, how I help coaches scale their online business to more than $50,000 every single month, check the description and you can find me on Instagram. But let's just get into this. The first step in this $5 million framework is that we need to master the small talk phase. These are the first 5 minutes. And why do we actually need to master the small talk phase? The simple reason is because we do business with people that we like, know, and also trust. The small talk phase is not about selling a product. It's not about telling how good you are. It's not about bragging about all the results in the entire world that you have created. The number one goal, the most important thing about the small talk phase is to build rapport. Make sure that the prospect have a great time. They're comfortable. They're also laughing. So basically, you need to build and actually create your new best friend. That's the vibe you should have. You should have a great time in the first 5 minutes with a prospect, where you laugh, where you just show that you're on the same side as them. Because if you do that, they also start trusting you. They also start liking you, and they feel like they already know you. But how can you actually showcase that they can know you? Because in the small talk phase, you can also tell the story behind your business, typically just 1 minute long. And then you invite them to tell more about them. And you, of course, ask some more questions into their situation and what inspired them to start their own business, or whatever inspired them to take certain actions. So basically just small talk phase where you have a good time and actually just start building a connection and a relationship, because we do business with people that we like, know, and trust. So make sure that you can build a good relationship with that prospect. And the second step into this $5 million framework is that you need to go from the small talk phase into the discovery phase. But there's a gap between these two, and this is the transition into the discovery phase. And in this transition, this is super important. You need to tell the agenda for what's going on this call, what they can expect. Because if you tell exactly what they can expect, they also feel like they know what's going to happen. If they know what's going to happen, you're not going to catch them off guard, which means that they're not going to shut down emotionally. And if they don't shut down emotionally, this is exactly the reason why you can open them up emotionally and actually influence them, because we influence people with emotions and we buy with our emotions and justify it with logic. So make sure that you tell them exactly what they can expect. Then it just makes them more comfortable on this call, because they know exactly what's going to happen. Also, what you want to do is dive more into your story. You also want to dive more into their story. So just build a very good connection. And of course, make sure to use storytelling, where you, of course, highlight where you were, where you are right now, the problem you solve, how many people you have helped. So you, of course, establish trust, but also authority and likelihood of achievement. These are the most important things in storytelling. What you also want to be doing is that you need to exactly clarify why the prospect is on the call. Because they're not here to just have a good time and talk with you. They're here because they have a problem they want to have solved. So basically just ask them, I know we're both very time efficient. So for us to get most of it out of this call today, can you please walk me through the expectations you have for this call, just so I know what we need to focus on? And then they tell you exactly why they are on the call and what you need to focus on, because the worst thing you can do is focus on something that doesn't matter to them. They don't care about you. They don't care about your product. They basically don't care about your life. The only thing they care about is actually how your product or service can help them solve their biggest problem and clarifying exactly why they're on the call. You have a very good chance of actually framing the entire conversation towards the focus point. And the third step into having this $5 million high ticket sales framework is actually the discovery phase. And the discovery phase is actually made for two things. First of all, where do they want to be? What is the current situation? And between these two, what is the thing that holds them back? Because what you want to do is, of course, dive more into the situation, but more important, you need to find out what are we trying to accomplish and make sure that it's a very good goal that is up here. Once you know exactly what their goal is, find out and ask, why is it actually important for them not only solve the problem, but why is it important for them to literally achieve this? And once you've done that, find out exactly where are they compared to where they want to be. Once you do that, you find out the gap. And if you have a huge gap, you basically just can't jump up here. You need help. And they're on the call with you, so you can see exactly how you can potentially help them get up here. But you need to know more about their situation. So what can you actually ask them more about? So to find out if you actually can help them. So what you want to be doing is that you need to find out what is the goal, where are they compared to where they want to be, and of course, what are they doing to get to that goal, because they need to be doing some kind of actions to get to where they want to be. And you want to know exactly what they're doing now, but also what they have tried to do in the past. And most importantly, you need to ask them how it's been working for them. Obviously, it hasn't been working really well. Otherwise, they wouldn't be speaking and be on the call with you. But you need to actually ask them these questions and also ask them what they have been doing, but also how it's been working for them, because you want to have the prospect experiencing the pain points and go through all the pain while they're telling you their entire situation. Because the more pain you can bring to the conversation and to the problem, the more they feel like it's urgent for them to actually solve it, because you need to know exactly what they have been doing, how it's been working, find out exactly what is the issue. What is the issue that has been holding them back from achieving their results? And more importantly, you want to dive even deeper. You don't want to be surface level. You need to go all the way down into the heart so they can actually speak directly with their emotions and ask them how these issues they've been having, how it has affected them personally, and also what damages it has caused. Because you want to actually find out what is the consequence of not solving this problem. What happens if they don't solve this problem? But also make sure that you ask them, why is it important for them to achieve this transformation right now? And people don't want more information. The reason why they're on the call with you is because they want a transformation from here, the painful situation, to the desired destination. This is the transformation they want. So make sure you actually ask them, why is it actually important for the prospect to achieve this? Because then they're kind of convincing you that it's important for them. And you need to frame the conversation like that. And it's very important to say that the discovery phase is actually 80% of the prospect talking and only 20% of you. And the only thing you should be doing is basically just ask the right questions and frame the conversation upwards to the goal, problem, what they've been doing to get there, what's been holding them back, how it made them feel about the problem, what it would feel like to actually achieve the goals, but also what happens if they don't solve the problem, and why is it actually important for them to solve it right now. Once you've done that, and it takes probably 25, 30, 40 minutes, it's most of the time that you're going to spend on the call, it is the discovery phase to discover their entire situation and how you can help them. Once you have done that, this is the fourth step. But you need to transition into the presentation. And what do I mean by that? You just can't dive in from the third step, which is discovery phase, all the way up to the presentation. There needs to be a transition. And a transition is very, very powerful, because now the prospect have been talking for a long time and you've been listening. You have really been listening to them. So you have gotten so much information. The emotion went up, it went down, it went up, it went down again. What you need to do now is use a label to actually put a name on the entire discovery phase, their goals, their problems, how it make them feel, the consequences, basically sum up the discovery phase. And we do that with a label. And it sounds like this. It sounds like, and then you just mention you want to achieve X, Y, and Z goal, but you've been struggling with A, B, and C. And that makes you feel 1, 2, and 3. Is that totally wrong? When you say that, you are literally labeling their entire situation, and you basically combine that with a no-oriented question. So the prospect feels like they are in charge, because no-oriented questions are super powerful. It makes them feel like they're in control. When you say, am I right? It's more pushy. So make sure that you actually use a no-oriented question. Like, is that too crazy? Or does that sound too crazy to you? Or is that ridiculous? Am I totally wrong? And then they basically say no, but saying no actually gets you closer to where you want to be, because you want to actually use a label to give their emotions a name, so they end up having a feeling that is, he's so right. And then they say, yes, that is absolutely correct. That's exactly how I feel. Or that's right. That's on point. All these things, what you want to aim for is a that's right. The reason why you want to do that is because this is a confirmation that everything you've been talking about for 30 minutes in the discovery phase is that everything is on point. You truly understand them. You have empathy. You understand exactly how they feel. This is also a very funny one, because in most cases, when people go to the doctor, they don't really need the medicine. What they truly need is basically just an audience or a person that truly listens to their entire life and their problems. So when you can act like that and truly act and literally show that you understand their entire situation, they will let their guard down. They will open up emotionally, and you now have the chance to influence them positively to make the sale later on. So this is actually the 4th step, the transition into the presentation. And the 5th step is actually the presentation. And the presentation is exactly where you present the solution that helps them complete the desired transformation that they have. So what you want to do is basically tell a little story before you dive in, and say, when you have done the label, you're also making sure that it's totally correct, that they feel like, okay, he really understands my situation. This is perfect. Then you say, if that's what you're saying, I know that I can help you. Of course, only say that if you can help them. If you cannot, just be honest. Say, I don't really think I can help you. But if you truly know that you can help them, you should also help them. And do that by actually implementing like a little storytelling. And you can say it like this: my clients came to me in the first place. Their biggest problem was that. And then you mention the prospect's biggest problem. And then you mention their second biggest problem. And then you mention the third biggest problem, because then the prospect feels like, okay, he actually knows my situation and I'm not weird for having these problems. This guy that I'm basically having this conversation with, he's been helping so many people with the exact same problem. So he must know exactly how I can solve my problem and get to where I want to be. That's exactly how the prospect feels when you say that. So build a little story how your best clients, those who have gotten the best results, faced and experienced the exact same problems. They also wanted to grow the business, or getting a 6-pack, or having peace of mind, or whatever problem and goal that you help them with. So make sure that you use familiarity. So your best cases is actually directly related to the prospect you're talking with. It is super important. And then you basically present your solution. It could either be with a Canva presentation. It could also be just you talking in front of, with the prospect as I'm talking with the camera right now. But it could also basically showcase, I've had my best client who went from 0 to 7 figures in just 180 days. He also mastered sales. What he did to actually close a lot of clients is that he basically just showed them everything they got. So they got a video course. So he got on to Go High Level, showed them the video course, basically just showing what they get. And also he showed them the group coaching, basically the community and all the frameworks, and how it helped them go to where they want to be. Because when you're selling your solution, you basically don't need to show them all the technical stuff. You must only be able to focus on how you can solve the problems. Okay, you have this problem, we solve it like this. You have this problem, we solve it like this. You have this problem right here, you solve it like this. Because then they know exactly how to solve these problems quickly, and you can go there. And later on, you can, of course, justify this way you actually solve the problems into how it's going to be like. How are you going to solve them? Like all this technical stuff, doing the program, the coaching, the community, the course, all these things. But start off actually telling exactly how you solve them and how they get there and how they can achieve their goals. And then you go into the technical stuff. Super, super important. But also, once you are actually presenting your solution, what you want to be doing is that you need to ask them for confirmation along the way. So ask questions like, are you with me? Does it make sense? How does this work for you? What concerns you the most? Because then you basically answer the question and they feel like they are a part of the presentation. The worst thing you can do is basically just talk for 10 minutes straight without actually having the prospect engage in the conversation. They will basically lose interest and focus in what you're telling. And this is the most important thing you're presenting right now for them. So make sure that they're actually engaging and it feels like a conversation. Can you see how this works for you? What really concerns you the most? And then they tell you their concerns and you already pre-handled their objections and say, okay, maybe if it's a fitness coach, can you see how this works for you? Yeah, really good. What concerns you the most? Well, I'm not quite sure if I can spend many hours in the kitchen every single day. Well, that's not a problem. This works actually also if you want to have takeaway and if you want to order it online. And if you even want to meal prep, you can basically just spend 30 minutes and make food for 4 or 5 days every single time we make food, which means that they spend probably an hour, a half an hour, 2 hours every single month making food. And now you already handled that objection they had. So now it's not an issue. And then just actually end it by saying, does that make sense for you? Or can you see how this is going to work for you? And then they basically give you a confirmation about how they feel about it. And you can also just ask them a no-oriented question again. Is this too crazy? Am I ridiculous when I say that? And then, no, you're not ridiculous. It's fine. It's fine. And then you can go right into your sales pitch again and how you can solve the problems. But make sure that they're actually engaging in the presentation so they feel like a part of you. So you showcase that you're on the same side as the prospect. So that is super important as well. All right, really good. Now you have presented the solution with the presentation or just speaking with them or actually showing them what they get. But do you just go right into the sales pitch and ask them for money? Or how does this actually work once you have presented the solution? This is the 6th step. Because this is the transition into the closing part, the bridge between the presentation to the actual closing part, the transition. And you're going to ask them 4 questions. First of all, how does this make you feel? Secondly, how does this work for you? And of course, also, how do you think this solution, and then just mention what you're doing, how do you think A, B, and C will help you achieve your goals? And last but not least, you want to ask them once again, what concerns you the most? Because now you get more objection. Now you have the chance to handle them. And the reason why it's very powerful to handle objections before you have mentioned the price is because once you actually handle the objection, they feel like you're actually helping them and you know that they're genuinely concerned about it. And it's not only about pricing because they don't know the price yet, but this is exactly what we're going into because the 6th step, not only the 6th step, this is exactly the 6th step transition. The 7th step is that you go right into the closing phase. And this is the 7th step. So now we're going into the closing part. What you want to be asking is that, what is the advantage of, and then you repeat back what they actually wanted. Once they have told you what happens if they take action, you follow up with another question. What happens if they don't take action? So what is the disadvantage of not taking action on this? Then they tell you everything you need to know about what's going to happen if they don't take action. And the cost of inaction is often 100 times higher than the investment they're going to make. Because let's say that you are a mindset coach and you're going to the closing part, and you ask them, what is the disadvantage of not solving this problem and not taking action? What you're really saying and asking is that, okay, what does it cost you not to solve this problem? And if your mindset coach and people with depression is actually on the call with you, what happens if they don't solve the problem? They'll still be depressed. They'll probably do the job to stress. They can't be a very good father or mother for the kids. They can't be a very good partner. Everything will drown if they have a business, but also in their relationship. They will probably also affect the family. So you can quickly see that the cost of not taking action is so much higher. And let's say you pitch $5,000. $5,000 is a bargain to live a happy and fulfilled life, and knowing exactly how to deal with your own mind. Because if you don't do it, your life will basically just fall to the ground. That's very important. You ask, what is the disadvantage of not taking action? And then you want to go right into actually asking, what do you think I should be compensated for financially to help you achieve A, B, and C? Because now you're basically asking them and inviting them into the negotiation. Okay, what do you think I should be compensated for to help you achieve A, B, and C? And they tell you a price. Maybe sometimes they don't tell you a price, but have them say a number. You want the prospect to go first into the pricing. That's super important. So what do you think I should be compensated for financially that is also really fair to you to help you achieve A, B, and C? Let's say, all right, maybe $2,000, just a number. That's cool. What you're really saying now is that you want to actually frame it exactly like this. Most of my clients, when they come to me, their biggest problem is that they don't know how to do A, B, and C, and they're struggling with the exact same problem that the prospect you're talking with right now are facing. And it costs them on average X amount of money every single year not to know how to solve that problem. Make sure the number you're saying that it costs your clients on average is higher than your actual price. So let's say that on average, it costs my clients $100,000 not know how to grow their business every single year. And in my case, for example, let's be real, it costs my clients more than $100,000 not to know how to grow the business and build a $50,000 a month business. What really is important here when you have this on the call is that you have this number and then you follow up and say, and your investment into achieving A, B, C, D, E result. And then you say your price. And then you quickly follow up and say, sounds fair enough. And then you just basically don't say anything, because the person, and this is also from the Wolf of Wall Street, the person who actually say the first word is going to lose the deal. But it's kind of true, because if you just keep talking and let's say, and your investment is $3,000 and then you basically just keep talking, your prospect will just shut down. So say the price, sounds fair enough, and wait for their answer. If it's 50 seconds, you have to be quiet, so be it. Have a glass of water, take a sip, and have them actually reply. And now you get to the real deal. If they say yes, all right, then you basically ask them a follow-up question. So is there any reason we wouldn't get started on Monday? Or is there any reason we wouldn't get started today? This is a no-oriented question, once again, because it feels like the prospect are in control of what's going to happen. And when they feel that, it's so much easier for them to and make the right decision, because it feels like they're in control. You're not persuading them. You're not pushing them to make the sale. So make sure that you say, so is there any reason we wouldn't get started on Monday? Once you do that, they basically tell you, no, everything is fine. And then you follow up with a new question. Okay, so what is the next step from here? Then you just put it over to them, to the prospect, and say, well, let's get started then. All right. And then you basically go into, okay, we have the follow-up call, the kickoff call, the onboarding call, this time. I'm going to send over the agreement. So you know exactly how we're going to do A, B, and C. When you tell the contract also, let's say I'm going to send over the contract. Don't say that. You're going to say, I'm going to send you over the papers and the agreement. So you know exactly on paper how we're going to do A, B, and C for you. So again, focus on the end result. They don't care about the contract, but you want to have a contract. So of course, everything you do is on paper and both parties know exactly what's going to happen. Or you need to frame it more into the end result. So say, I'm just going to send over the papers so you know exactly how we're going to do A, B, and C and how you can get there. Sounds fair? Really good. And then you go into, all right, Can you do this time for an onboarding call? And then you have the onboarding call and actually also made the sale. This is exactly what I would do to build a very good business, and what I've done to make more than $5 million in high ticket sales for my clients in just 2 years. And my best client went from 0 to 7 figures in just 6 months of time using this framework, because I know it really works. So you need to practice until you cannot get it wrong. Super, super important. Don't practice until you get it right, because everybody can get it right one time. So practice until you cannot get it wrong. And I'll promise you that you will make a lot of sales. If you want to learn more about me and what I'm doing, basically go into the description and you can go to Instagram or LinkedIn to learn more about me. I'll share tips about how you can grow your online business and actually build a business that makes more than $50,000 every single month for you, so you can help more people, build more wealth, and have more safety and freedom in your life. And I'll just see you in the next video.